Good morning, students. Today we are going to start the chapter Respiration in Plants. See, only photosynthetic cells, they are able to trap solar energy and then it is converted into chemical energy to build up organic compounds. And this organic substance obtained from outside undergo two types of reaction. First is anabolic reaction and second is catabolic reaction. Anabolic means building up, in which complex substances are formed from simple one. And catabolism means breakdown of complex substance into simpler one and energy is released. Okay, this energy is required by the cell. Okay, so which means it fulfill the requirement of energy, that is termed as respiration. See, what is the need of energy? Energy is required for every activity of an organism and their cell. They include overcoming entropy, tendency of disorder, cell division, growth, development, everything, even movement, breathing, everything. So, we can say that respiration is a continuous process that occur all the time in all living beings for providing energy through enzyme controlled breakdown of organic substances. So respiration can be of two types, external respiration and internal respiration. Okay, external means when exchange of gases takes place between organism and environment. Okay, so when exchange of gases is taking place between organism and the external environment, that will be termed as external respiration and internal respiration. Second is internal respiration. So internal means when respiration takes place between the tissues, okay, cellular tissues and the environment. When exchange of gases is taking place between tissues and see in previous class also we have studied that in human beings, I am talking about human beings, we have studied that exchange of gases take place twice. First, that is in lungs, and second, it is in tissues. So in a similar way, if we are going to classify types of respiration, so it will be of two types, external and internal. External means when respiration is taking place, or we can say simply when exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen is taking place between the organism and environment. And when exchange of gases, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen, is taking place between tissues and the environment is taking place, that will be internal. Now, depending upon whether respiration is taking place in presence of oxygen or in absence of oxygen, depending upon the presence of oxygen, it is termed as aerobic respiration. Okay, when there is absence, or we can say lack, sometimes lack of oxygen means there is shortage, not sufficient amount of oxygen is present, okay, of oxygen, then it will be termed as anaerobic respiration. Okay, so depending upon the exchange of gases and depending upon the presence or absence of oxygen, it can be further classified. Now mainly in this session we are going to study different cycle, okay, especially cellular respiration, which steps are taking place and which cycles is undergoing in aerobic respiration.
In plants, there are no specialized organ for respiration. Plant, they do not possess breathing organ. We know that. They fulfill their requirement of oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. How? They possess stomata and lenticels. Okay, but plants does not need large amount of energy. Why? Because they does not move from one place to another. During daytime, the photosynthetic region like leaves, stems, they release sufficient oxygen to meet the requirement of respiration. And internal diffusion of oxygen from photosynthetic organ is very small. In order to fulfill the requirement of oxygen, the intercellular space, it occurs among the living cell to help in better exchange of gases. Now, respiration can be anaerobic and aerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, it consists of glycolysis, link reaction, Krebs cycle, and terminal oxidation, consisting of electron transport and oxidative phosphorylation. Now, glycolysis, it is the first step of cellular respiration that brings about the breakdown of glucose to hexose sugar. Okay, now just see the diagram. I am explaining that one by one. Firstly, what happened? Phosphorylation of glucose takes place. See, glucose plus ATP, okay, in presence of enzyme hexokinase, it get converted into glucose 6-phosphate. This is first phosphorylation, okay, and ATP get converted into ADP diphosphate. That ADP means diphosphate, okay. Now after that, formation of fructose 6-phosphate takes place, and that step is known as isomerization. Glucose 6-phosphate get converted into fructose 6-phosphate, okay, that is isomers. And it is directly formed by the phosphorylation of fructose, provided it is as a respiratory substrate, and the enzyme in this is known as fructokinase. So by both the method, either by isomerization or directly, okay. Now after that, second phosphorylation takes place, in which ATP converts fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-diphosphate, and the enzyme used is phosphofructokinase. Okay, phosphofructokinase is the enzyme, and fructose 6-phosphate get converted into fructose 1,6-diphosphate. And after that, lysis takes place. Lysis means splitting. So what happened in this? In presence of enzyme aldolase, fructose 1,6-biphosphate splits into two 3 carbon compounds. See, fructose 6 is how many carbon compound? It is a 6 carbon compound. Then it get converted into 3 carbon compound. One is dihydroxy acetone 3-phosphate and other is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and both are 3 carbon compound. Again, there is oxidation and phosphorylation. Both takes place, oxidation and phosphorylation. Now, what happened? Dioxy 3-phosphate. It is converted into isomer glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Clear? And these steps are energy spending. In this, you must have seen. See, ATP get converted into ADP. NAD get converted into NADH. Okay. So, all are consuming energy. Now, after that, what happened? Energy conserving phase. Till this, energy was utilized. Now, energy will be conserved. So, in that, first is, I've told you oxidation. In this, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay. It get oxidized with the help of glyceraldehyde phosphate dehydrogenase. Okay. And along with that, NAD picks up hydrogen and get converted into NADH. Just see the diagram. In arrow, it is given also 2-phosphate ion and NADH. Okay, and after that, ATP is synthesized. Okay, synthesis of ATP takes place. See, 1,3-biphosphoglycerate converts ADP to ATP. And finally, ATP and pyruvate is formed. Now, after this, next is Krebs cycle. Now, Krebs cycle, it is also known as citric acid cycle. Why? Because just see in the diagram, first product is citric acid. That's why it is known as citric acid cycle. It is also known as TCA cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle. Okay. So, whenever any of these name is given, you have to draw this diagram and write. See, in this, first step is condensation and acetyl enzyme. Okay, A. It combines with oxaloacetic acid in presence of condensing enzyme and get converted into citrate. Now, citrate is tricarboxylic 6-carbon compound. It is a 6-carbon compound. And after that, it is converted, citrate is converted into its isomer, and 2 steps reaction occurs. Okay. First is dehydration. That is citric acid get converted into cis acotinate, and rehydration. That again, see, dehydration means removal of water and rehydration means again water is added in that. So, it again get converted into isocitrate. And after that, it undergoes hydrogenation and decarboxylation in the presence of enzyme. Now, it get converted into alpha ketoglutarate. Okay, along with NADH plus carbon dioxide is released, and the 5-carbon compound, that is alpha ketoglutarate, it undergoes simultaneously dehydrogenation and decarboxylation, and it get converted into 4-carbon compound product, that is succinyl CoA. Okay. Now, again here, synthesis of ATP or GTP, that is guanosine triphosphate, or ITP, inosine triphosphate. See, ATP synthesis takes place in plants, while GTP and ITP, it takes place in animal. Okay. So, succinyl coenzyme that converted into succinate, and succinate undergoes oxidation to form 4-carbon compound fumarate with the help of enzyme succinate dehydrogenase. Okay, and this enzyme enables to get directly linked to the electron transport chain. Now after that, fumarate get converted into malate, and malate get converted into oxaloacetic acid. Thus the whole cycle is complete, and NADH and FADH2 are linked to electron transport system and the formation of ATP by oxidative phosphorylation. Clear? I have told you that aerobic respiration is completed in 3 cycles, that is glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transport chain, that is we can say ETC. Okay, so now we are going to study about ETC. ETC means electron transport chain. In this, a group of coenzymes and cytochrome take part in transport of electrons, okay, along the decreasing redox potential. Just see, in diagram also it is there given NADH get converted into NAD, hydrogen is released, and after that again FAD get converted into FADH2 with the absorption of hydrogen. NADH reductase complex, it is formed in the matrix, and it donates 2 proton and 2 electrons to flavin mononucleotide. And FMN, it extends from M side of membrane, that is in the, inner mitochondrial membrane, to its C side. Okay, so this is complex 1. Just see in the figure, in the starting it is written complex 1, that is NADH reductase complex, and after that complex 2, that is succinate Q reductase complex. Here quinone, okay, quinone becomes receptive and picks up the proton from matrix to form ubiquinol and discharge a proton 2H plus. It is, see in the diagram it is given complex 3, that is QH2 cytochrome C reductase complex. Okay, see on receiving 2 electron, quinone is able to pick up the 2 proton from M side of the membrane and later shuttle to C side and liberates its 2 proton. And after that complex 4, that is cytochrome C oxidase complex. What does it do? It collectively means, see, while the shuttling of proton from outer chamber, QH2 hands over its electron to cytochrome C1, and from here the electron flows to cytochrome C, cytochrome A and A3. Okay, and these are all collectively known as cytochrome oxidase. Now electrotransport chain, it starts from NADH and is able to push 3 pairs of proton to the outer mitochondrial chamber. Okay, now see just how the exchange of energy is taking place with the help of all these 3 cycles is shown in this diagram. You will be able to understand how it takes place. This is all for this session. We will continue the topic in the next session. Thank you. Have a nice day.